We got the set bonuses, class design. Let's read what they're saying about this because it's a big deal, honestly. Set armor bonuses in Season 1 of Dragonflight have relatively low impact on gameplay and rotations. I think the gameplay thing, whatever, but rotations is the big thing. Set bonuses always were massively changing the rotation because we wanted to give new talent system room to shine, which they definitely did. In Embers of Neltharin's Lair, set bonuses can have more impact on your resources, cooldowns, and talents. Some bonuses are enhanced by playing certain talents, and some builds on popular talents in the middle sections of the tree. Some build on. Throughout these designs, we intend to players to feel like they're able to play the overall build or strategy they prefer. So it's still kind of like neutral. They're still trying to make it more about the class and not the spec necessarily. They don't want to force any specific talents. But welcome to 2023, where we have some insanely fun set bonuses for Blood Death Knight. Hard Strike and Blood Boil, and deal 20% increased damage. This is mass. I mean, this is really, really a big deal. 20% buff to Blood Boil anytime is so big. But like on a single piece, like, you're going to get one piece of gear and then suddenly your spells are going to do 20% more damage. That's awesome. And they also have a 10% chance to grant Vampiric Blood for 5 seconds. So this immediately reminds me of the essence in Battle for Azeroth that would proc Vampiric Blood. And a lot of people said, it wasn't very good at the time. Obviously, this is the set bonus. This is the only option, so everybody's going to be using it. But I love a concept like this. Random health buffs are potentially really fun. And I like randomness in WoW. Like, I really always have. But I believe, based on what we're seeing here, 10 seconds, obviously we're using one of these spells every global for at least probably 70 to 80% of the globals, right? So one of these spells is going to happen. What are the odds that Vampiric Blood falls off? That's my first question. You know what I mean? Like, and then plus, here we go. When you would gain Vampiric Blood, you are infused with Vampiric Strength, granting you 10% strength for 5 seconds. Your Heart Strike and Blood Boil extend the duration of Vampiric Strength by 0.5 seconds. So it's almost like the Dancing Rune Weapon thing from Season 4, right? In Season 3 and 4. It's similar. I mean, the fact that it doesn't extend Vamp Blood isn't even relevant because Vamp Blood is up all the time anyway. It's already up all the time. And so now you're going to have a set bonus that's going to constantly give you 5 more seconds. Presumably, it's just going to add on to any previous application of it. Like, if somehow it procced when you already had Vamp Blood up, I hope that it would just add 5 seconds. What does this do for Umbilicus Eternus? My immediate question there, and I don't know, you guys are probably better at this kind of thing than I am, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. For me, Umbilicus Eternus is my favorite talent in the game right now. It's going to always be my favorite talent in the game. I'm always going to take it. But I'm worried, because if you just have Vamp Blood for 90% of the dungeon, does Umbilicus even do anything? So I'm thinking that that's probably not going to be true anyway. But, if you have it for 90% of the dungeon and then it drops off, then what? Then what happens? You know what I mean? So, I don't really understand how this part works. You guys tell me what you think on all this. Like, from the math that we see here, do you think it's going to be Vamp Blood up 100% of the time and Umbilicus is valueless? Do you think, maybe Vamp Blood is only going to fall out when you're out of combat, and then you're going to have this giant Umbilicus running into the next pack? I don't know. You guys tell me. I love to hear this. This is awesome. I don't even care about this 4 set. I really this is cool. Strength, fine. Obviously we'll take it. It's good offense, good defense. I don't like this. I really don't. But since it's Heart Strike and Blood Boil, it doesn't really change the way I play. Like, you're going to use these spells no matter what. You don't have to sit there and just spam Heart Strike for 40 global straight. So this is great. I like this a lot. I don't think the 10% strength is going to change things too much. I do want to take a look at the other set bonuses quick. Just a quick word of note. I do not play any other tank right now. I do want to play some prop pally in the future, but certainly Vengeance, I don't know a thing about. So you guys can give your thoughts on this too. Soul Fragments heal for 10% more and generate a Soul Fragment increase. And generating a Soul Fragment increases your fire damage by 2% for 6 seconds, and multiple applications may overlap, while Shear and Fracture deal fire damage. After consuming 20 soul fragments, your next cast of Shear or Fracture applies Fiery Brand to its target for 6 seconds. So that sounds like the 4 set is going to be very powerful there. My immediate question is, in Legion, they had something called, I believe it was called Charred Warblades. It's probably not called that. I always say that, but I think that's not the right name for it. That any fire damage you did healed you. So does that still exist? And if so, is this powerful? Like, is this all this extra fire damage? Is that going to be powerful? But again, I don't play Guardian. I haven't touched Guardian since BFA. Or I'm sorry, I haven't touched Vengeance since BFA. Guardian I have played somewhat, but not recently. When you take damage, Mangle and Thrash damage and Rage Generation are increased by 15% for 8 seconds, and you heal for 6% of the damage taken over 8 seconds. Okay. Maul and Raise damage increases by 20%, and casting Iron Fur or Maul and Raise increases your maximum health. So I don't really like this temporary maximum health for a Druid. I like it for Blood Decay because there's lots of different health modifiers and things that you're benefiting from having high health from. But I never liked this on a Guardian Druid. They had something like this in the past, and I don't like this 4-set at all. But it's a big DPS increase, which I believe they're already doing great damage. So yeah, again, if you guys are playing Bear, please do let me know on what you think is going on there. So next up we have Brewmaster. Blackout Kick damage has been increased by 20%, and you have a 10% chance to not reset your elusive brawler stacks on a successful dodge, which I think sounds insane, but it's only a 10% chance, but it's basically a free dodge every 10 dodges, right? So that's really good. That's going to dramatically improve Mastery's value, I believe, right? Am I wrong about that? Rising Sun Kick grants a stack of elusive brawler, so even more so. Would that make haste better? I don't really get it. When you dodge, damage, and critical strike, when you dodge, damage and critical strike chance of your next Blackout Kick or Rising Sun Kick is increased, stacking up to 5 times. That's a strange one. So that's basically an offense only one. Am I wrong? What does a crit of Blackout Kick give more time off brews or something like that? I don't understand what the purpose of increasing its damage and crit. What is the purpose of that? It's a damage only one, it sounds like, which does not sound good to me, but I've heard Brewmaster is doing a lot of damage anyway, so I bet a lot of those people who are playing it now probably like that. Here's Prop Pally. It's one spec that we do want to dive into. Avenger's Shield causes target struck to burn with Heartfire, dealing an additional 20% of damage dealt over 5 seconds, and Heartfire heals you for 100% of the damage dealt. That sounds like it's going to be insanely good on large AoE packs where Prop Pally is already shining, so really leaning into their niche. And then Judgment Critical Strikes can trigger Grand Crusader, which I believe is the proc that gives you the free Avenger Shield. Am I right about that? So that's a very, very, very bad set bonus, I feel like, honestly. The 4-set, that does nothing, especially compared to Blood or Vengeance, like the ones we've seen already. So I don't really know about that, but to be honest, 2 sets are so freaking cool. I don't know if they're doing this on purpose or they're making the 2-set the more interesting one. But yeah, that sounds pretty cool out of the gate. And then finally we have the Protection Warrior. Shield Slam deals 15% increased damage and reduces the cooldown of Last Stand by 0.5 seconds. During Last Stand, these effects are doubled. Wow. More damage for these tanks is definitely, let's talk about that quickly as well. For 10 seconds after Last Stand ends, Shield Slam unleashes a wave of force, dealing damage to enemies in front of you and reducing damage they deal to you by 5%. Unleashes a wave of force. That's very interesting. So small, I mean, that's pretty good, man. This sounds really good. Depending on how much damage it does. It says dealing damage, so we don't actually know. Prot Warrior is not lacking for damage, but yeah, this whole Last Stand thing, I always thought that was kind of interesting. It was kind of like a niche that they never really dove right into, but in BFA it was kind of potent. So, but that was because of the Azerite traits or whatever. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing this. So, like, who gains the most from this? Honestly, like, my first inclination is it might be Blood. Both of these seem like they're going to really increase their defense and their offense, which, of course, 10% more strength isn't a ton, but you're already, gaining a lot of extra damage from the Blood Boil changes. So even more strength just simply means more damage, And of course, there's also the defensive component, which who knows what Season 2 is going to look like tuning-wise, but I'll tell you right now, I feel Blood is very, very strong for, one big reason. And it's because they have huge CD coverage right now, like huge, huge, huge CD coverage. They pretty much always have at least one CD up, and that's going to make it even easier, tremendously easier, seemingly. So Blood is really looking good in my eyes. The other ones, they don't look like they're going to help with that, but I don't know how they're playing right now to the degree, like, would they need that? I think Vengeance does need that. I've heard this. But, Fiery Brand, every 20 soul fragments. So what is that? Like every couple casts of it, right? So yeah, that could be big for them too. Same deal. To its target for 6 seconds, and I assume it can still like spread or whatever. And Guardian, to me, like this is like a not a very good solution to their health problems, but maybe people will disagree. I don't think like health is the solution here. But yeah, I like it. I like it. You know, it's fine. But yeah, Proud Pally's 4 set stands out to me as as a strange one. But you know, hey, more Avengers Shield, dude. That's just like the fantasy. We were just talking about this on stream though, and it kind of like reminds me of that. It's like, you know, Avengers Shield is a really fun button to press, but now that it doesn't generate holy power, you almost can't press it. Like I mean, like I haven't played the spec, but to me, it seems like if you just press Avengers Shield every single global, you just die. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what the spec almost wants you to do, but you don't generate any resources, right? Am I wrong about that? So you guys tell me. I'm excited about this. Obviously, blood is the thing I'm the most excited about. So thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon.